December 1st, 1948. Somerton Beach, Adelaide, Australia. The air is thick with salt and the unsettling silence of a dying day. A man is found slumped against a sea wall, eyes closed, seemingly asleep. But he isn't sleeping. He is cold. He is a ghost without a name, a man who walked into history and simply ceased to exist in any record. No identification, no wallet, no train ticket, just a half-smoked cigarette perfectly balanced on his lapel. This is the Somerton Man, and his death remains one of the most chilling enigmas in human history. We are looking at a masterclass in obfuscation, an event so surgically sanitized that it defies every forensic logic of the mid-20th century. Let's start with the clothes. The man was dressed in high-quality, tailor-made garments, yet every single label had been meticulously cut out. Someone didn't just want him to be unidentified, they wanted to erase his manufacturing trail. In his pocket, a small, tightly rolled scrap of paper was discovered. It featured two words, printed in an elegant, stylized font, Tamam Shud. It means, is finished in Persian. These words are taken from the final page of the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, a collection of poems about the fleeting nature of life and the inevitability of death. The irony is suffocating. He had the book in his possession, or rather, the exact copy from which that scrap had been torn. When police finally located the vehicle where the book had been discarded, a car parked near the beach, they found something even more unsettling: a series of letters scribbled in the back cover. A code. A cipher that hasn't been cracked in over 7 decades. It wasn't a standard substitution, it was a rhythmic, calculated series of patterns that intelligence experts have suggested might be a spy's manual or a dead drop location. Was he a Soviet plant? Was he a victim of a post-war intelligence purge that the Australian government was terrified to acknowledge? Consider the poison. The doctors were baffled. His organs were congested, his heart enlarged, yet no traces of known toxins were found in his system. Experts debated everything from digitalis to exotic plant-based alkaloids, but the medical examiner's report was essentially a collection of question marks. There was no struggle, no sign of a forced entry into his life, no external trauma. He died as if he had simply turned off his own consciousness. Fast forward to 2021. DNA testing finally gave him a name: Carl Webb, a humble electrical engineer and instrument maker. But here is the pivot, the detail that breaks the logic. If he was just an engineer, why did the trail of his life disappear so effectively? Why were there whispers of a spurned lover, a woman named Jestin, who lived near the beach and possessed another copy of the Rubaiyat? When she was shown a bust of the man, she nearly fainted. She claimed she didn't know him, but her reaction told a story of a secret that lived in the dark corners of the post-war era. She had given a copy of the book to an army officer during the war. Was Carl Webb that officer? Or was he a man caught in the web of espionage that defined the 1940s? We look at the cold beach, the empty labels, the untraceable poison, and the bizarre code. We see a man who was erased from his own existence. He wasn't just a dead man, he was a message left in a bottle on a desolate shore. The investigation dragged for decades because the answers didn't lead to a killer, they led to a shadow. If you look closely at the autopsy photos, you see the face of a man who knew he was being followed, a man who saw the end coming and had the grace to sit down, light a cigarette, and wait for the final page to be turned. The mystery isn't just about how he died, it's about why the world has been so careful to keep his story incomplete. Every time we attempt to bridge the gap between Carl Webb, the engineer, and the spy who washed up on Somerton Beach, we find ourselves back at the beginning, staring at a code that refuses to be broken. The deeper we dig, the more the pieces refuse to fit. Yet the silence of his grave continues to scream that there was never an accident here, only a well-planned departure from a life that was never meant to be recorded in the first place. And that calculated silence is why